maybe I didn't realize how traumatic it can be. And I just look back at that and think, wow, I don't know some of the things that go on in people's lives. In my situation, I didn't know about anything in my friend's life that there was violence happening in her life. She had a husband or a boyfriend with 2 children, and my kids were about the same age. I went over to her house. We had just kind of reacquainted because we knew each other about 10 years before. Bumped into each other in the hallway at a school, and she just asked me if I wanted to come over. And so I came over and I brought a pie because, you gotta have apple pie when you're meeting a friend. And I was there probably for about 10 minutes or so. And we were just chatting, and she had just moved into a townhouse. I had kind of arranged for that about, a week or 2 before that. But this was the first time we really got together, just the 2 of us. And her boyfriend showed up. As soon as he walked in, he was angry at her. He was swearing at her and saying she was, in regular words, like terrible, a slut, or lazy, or just he was angry at her. And I couldn't figure out why he was just out of the gate so angry. She just kept saying to him, you need to go, you need to go. And he just escalated, and I kept saying to him, she doesn't want you here, like you weren't invited, you need to leave. And she said to me, she tried to quiet me down because she probably thought maybe I would make the mood even more escalated. Eventually, she was walking towards the door, and he was following her, and he gave her a push, and then she was underneath it would be a screen door, and she was stuck, like she was on the front porch. There's a couple steps, I guess, and she was caught under it, so she couldn't get away from it. He's going over her, and you blah blah blah, right? And I said to him, I need, let's help her get up, she's stuck. And he grabbed my hand or my wrist and threw me back. I hit the closet door behind me, and it's pretty scary. I've never been physically handled before, and but my adrenaline's up, and I want to save my friend, and so anyways, I could see past them, and there's a man walking by, and these are townhouses, so just in between there's sidewalk, and he was walking by, and it happened to be my Uncle Lou, through marriage. And I yelled out to him, I'm like, Uncle Lou, he's the manager of the property, and just happened to be going by, and I don't know, maybe he had heard some noise or something, and he came over, and I said, this guy won't leave. He wasn't invited. We need him to go. And so the boyfriend said to him, well, you can't make me do whatever. And he goes, yeah, I can. I'm the manager. And he took his arm, I guess, as I can recall, and walked him out of there. That was that altercation. And eventually she took him to court, and it was a custody case, and she asked me to be a witness as to what he had done. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know if he was being charged with violence or what it was. And so I went on the stand and told them exactly what I said today. Well, in other words, I'm sure. And she didn't win. So he didn't have any consequences other than this story out in public, I guess, in court. And about 3 months later, she asked me if I would like to go to Boston Pizza for dinner. And I said, oh, sure, I'll do that. I'm not doing anything. Met her, and as I walked in, they were sitting together at a table. And I thought, whoa. At the time, I'm thinking, how could you do this to me? Very selfish. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why are you with this guy? But I guess he's the father of her children. And I had to sit, and I didn't say anything to him. I think eventually he went to the washroom, and I said to her, I can't stay. I wish you at least told me this was happening. I think she wanted us to make up, or I have no idea. And I just look back at that and think, wow, I don't know some of the things that go on in people's lives, I remember walking into that Boston Pizza, and I'm just looking for my girlfriend, a pretty girlfriend. She's like sparkly and beautiful and dynamic and all those things. And when he was there, she was like his puppy, oh, can I get you a water or whatever, like that kind of thing. And I'm like, whoa, where'd my strong girlfriend go? It shakes you, and I feel for her. Maybe I didn't realize how traumatic it can be. Yeah, because like my relationships before, there was some yelling at each other. I guess I didn't see that as violence. I had, my 2 kids, and when they were, I think, almost 3 and 5, and one of the things they said, because we decided to go, or my husband decided to go on a trip, and he had sold everything that we had, and so I guess I was afraid back then, but it's like, okay, we're okay, he's just having a bit of a hard time. We did this thing where we had like an ashtray, I guess it was, or maybe it was a tin can, I don't remember, and we wanted to write down things that we wanted to leave in Edmonton, and the kids, they said, we want to leave the yelling. That mommy and daddy won't yell at each other anymore. And I'm like, what? Do you hear us? Like, I did have another relationship that I was in. My youngest son, his father I was with, he was very, I would say, volatile too. He'd snap like that. And if looks could kill, he would try to get my attention and give me that I'm angry look. Or he would take his sunglasses, his Ray-Ban glasses, and squish them up in front of me, and I'm thinking, yeah, you just showed me. Yeah, there was one in between. So I got married, and that lasted about 6 years, and there was a point where we didn't communicate very well. It was, I guess, the yelling again. I remember being kind of angry at him because I felt like he wasn't sitting with us during dinner, and if he was, there was a phone there to look at, and just wasn't present. And yeah, there was some things that I did to his laptop on my tray, and as I'm doing it, I'm like, I'm hurting this table that I painted, but I'm so angry at electronics because they're taking my husband away or something. And I heard him, he yelled downstairs, and I thought it was that he heard me, but I guess he went to punch a chair, but he hit the metal in behind the chair, like it was cushioned or whatever, right? He broke his hand. And like, it was terrible. And here we are, this loving couple. We seem to really love each other. We had children together, and like, we didn't have them together, but we blended these 5 children, my 3 and his 2. And why did that happen? I don't know. My relationship right now, Gary and I have been together 7 years, and right from the get-go, I thought, no more yelling. That's one thing it's terrible for kids to hear. It's terrible for us to hear. I'm already sometimes yelling at myself. I don't need anyone else. I don't need to carry that on. And if we start raising our voices, we're about to hit a boundary that is hard to step back from. And so, we try. We're not perfect. But I know it's when that yelling happens, you've crossed that and you're on the wrong side of communication. You're now hurting each other, even just with the tone of your voice. My dad was in community corrections when he was working, and he taught me, to be smart, street smart, I guess. Like, when you're walking outside, be aware of who's around you, because there's not all great things happening in people's minds and lives, right?